is, guys? It's your boy Blastphamoushd. Now, for some reason, you guys enjoy it when I watch educational videos. So today, we gonna watch something educational for y'all. Now, unless you been under a rock or something like that, you don't know what Bitcoin is, man. It's basically this cryptocurrency that's gone extremely highly in value, extremely fast. I'm not gonna pretend like I know a lot of this stuff, so we just gonna watch the video.
The total market cap is about $2.1 trillion. Bitcoin's dominance is about 41% and Ethereum dominance slightly above 18%. As of the time of this recording, Bitcoin bounces back about $47,000. A few days ago, BTC dropped to a low level of $42,000, so it gained at least $5,000. Not bad at all. Hopefully, it will be back about $50K in the next few days. On the day, BTC is up by 2% and on the week it's up by 1.5%. Bitcoin, Binance Coin are the only two crypto assets that are up on the day and on the week. BTC market cap is almost at $900 billion once again. Ethereum, the second largest crypto asset, almost moved up. Now it's almost at $3,500. Few days ago it was below $3,000. Nice bounce back as well. It is up on the day by almost 2%, but is still down slightly on the week. Cardano ADA is not doing too bad either. It's almost at $2.50. It surpasses its 2017 all-time high. On the day it's up by more than 4% and on the week it's slightly down. Binance BNB is actually performing better than other crypto assets so far. Today it's about $430. It is up by 6% on the day. That makes BNB the best daily performing asset. On the week it's up by almost 3%. Solana is down after its staggering rise. Polkadot is actually by far the best weekly performing asset. It's almost up by 30%. Shitcoin Dogecoin is down. It is on a nice spot. It might get flipped by the Bitcoin balance on crypto exchanges continues to go lower and lower. It declined from its new all-time high of 17% back in March of 2020 to this current level of 13%. It may not sound like a lot, but the trend is pointing downwards and Bitcoin indeed becomes more scarce and scarce. If there is less Bitcoin on exchanges, there is less potential selling pressure that may come from traders. If there is less selling pressure, BTC is likely not to go down too drastically. So there are two directions where Bitcoin can go, either sideways or up, and most likely it will go up, because there is supply shortage assuming the demand will stay constant. The follow-up chart, it represents 2 years Bitcoin price action as well as illiquid Bitcoin supply in these yellow lines. As we can see that illiquid Bitcoin supply just reached a new all-time high. It even surpassed its April level where BTC hit an all-time high of more than $64,000. Currently, there are close to 14.5 million BTC that are illiquid. Those Bitcoin supply are not on the crypto exchanges. Illiquid Bitcoin supply are those coins that are not easily accessible by the market. Those coins are usually stored on the hardware wallets by the long-term holders. Often crypto exchanges custody Bitcoin on the cold storage on behalf of the clients. Keep in mind, guys, currently there are around 18.8 million BTC available in circulation. Out of those 18.8 million BTC, 14.5 million are illiquid and the remaining 4.3 million are liquid. So the ratio is more than 4:1 illiquid versus liquid Bitcoin supply. You do not need to be a rocket scientist to understand that this makes Bitcoin more scarce. Another super bullish chart. This chart represents the supply held by the long-term Bitcoin holders. This supply just reached a new all-time high and it continued to go up and up. If you noticed, historically, long-term Bitcoin holders tend to accumulate BTC when it consolidates sideways, just like from November 2019 till November 2020. What it may mean that Bitcoin is not going down anytime soon. When the long-term holders start selling, shortly after that BTC price explodes even more, just like it did in April. So that part is yet to be seen. Personally, I'm not planning to sell any Bitcoin anytime soon. Why would I sell pristine asset into highly inflationary fiat currency? Even if I want to buy a house, I would not sell anything. I would just borrow dollar against the house equity. Considering the current low interest rate environment, dollars are almost free, so there is no reason to sell any of your Bitcoin. Now, let's take a look at this chart that put up by Plan B. Plan B says that he expects the top to be in this yellow area, assuming that this cycle will be longer than the previous two. Yes, first cycle was the most aggressive one where BTC generated 100x or so, but that cycle lasted for only 13 months. The second cycle where BTC generated 33x lasted close to 18 months. That's a year and a half. And so far, BTC generated more than 5x from the last Bitcoin halving until now. And from that date until now, that's going to be 17 months. By this time, first cycle was already in the bear market, and the second cycle is just 1 month away to be in the bear market. In my opinion, the plan B could be right, and this cycle is likely to be more extended for few reasons. First and foremost, we do not have enough historic data to assume that history will repeat itself. We had only 2 cycles that happened to have 12 and 18 months period. Secondly, if you look at the on-chain analytics such as we did in the beginning of this video, those charts indicate that this cycle is not over yet. Bitcoin becomes more scarce as Bitcoin shortage increases. Not many people want to sell the crypto. Therefore, we could end up in this yellow area. This area ranging between $300,000 and $1 million. Maybe we could hit $1 million few years from today. Now, let's take a look at this video where Jeff Booth, one of the smartest guys in the crypto community, explains why Bitcoin is a superior asset. Then he will explain how to allocate your portfolio with Bitcoin. Let's take a look.
When you think about Bitcoin specifically, why do you say that it's superior to all of the other assets? Is it something to do with the structure of it? Is the sovereignty? Is it everything in totality? Like how do you think through the various options that someone has? Maybe equities, real estate, other commodities, currencies, and Bitcoin.
Well, let's look at over the last 100 years. Real estate would have been the top asset class. And it's a top asset class because you can lever it and you can pay back the debt in money that's being devalued over time. And so you take on debt and use the system to be able to pay back debt in cheaper dollars tomorrow, and your asset price rises. Now, and then if you own 10 houses and your neighbor owns one, you're richer than your neighbor, because now you can rent those up, rents go up, and again, along with inflation as well. If you own 100 houses, you're wealthier. If you're Blackstone and competing against private buyers in the real estate market, you own more of the wealth. So that system, and then if you don't own houses, obviously you're a slave to that system, working harder and harder as your rent, food, everything else is going up. So you can see the example I'm making through real estate alone. That's been the top performing asset class over the last, call it 100 years. Next would be equities. But all of those assets are in the existing system and being priced in devaluing dollars, and that's one risk, those dollars being devalued. And if you think that that's the only risk, then continue to own predominantly real estate equities and everything else, because you'll have some sort of safety in that. But that's not the primary risk. That's not the only risk. The other risk is the system collapse. And Bitcoin protects against both of those risks. And today it would be hard to see because you don't have, in Bitcoin, there's 2 network effects. One of the store of value that is growing, the primary kind of layer 1, which would be like investing in the internet itself, TCP IP. And then layer 2 on Lightning and such, and it would pump, a lot about this. But today, if you said today where we are, people say, well, I can't use Bitcoin as a currency. In most places, it's just hard to use as a currency. But remember, what we do, what all businesses do, we project our current reality forward, thinking we're projecting the future, instead of projecting the trend of technology forward and what that will mean. And what that means, and what's happening on layer 2 in Bitcoin, is you have 2 network effects feeding back against each other, and it will, and I think it will highly likely to become a currency that you can use and the best store of value. So in first world countries, we don't see that because we've had a system that operates pretty fairly for a lot of years. But if you're in a third world country like El Salvador and you don't, even the Bitcoin is upwardly volatile, it is less risk to use that as a currency than in the existing currency. And so what you see is lots of other countries starting to use this as a medium of exchange as well.
I don't think I've ever asked you this, so I apologize if I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but how do you think about if you have $1 or 1 unit of fiat currency, the opportunity to buy Bitcoin versus invest in the infrastructure of Bitcoin and kind of what's being built around it versus, let's say, equity or real estate? Do you have some sort of like mental framework in terms of almost like a portfolio construction strategy? Or do you think that we've gotten to the point where certain parts of this are so de-risked that you feel more comfortable having like overexposure compared to like the traditional frameworks?
Yeah, I'll answer that, but I want to be careful in the answer because everybody's position is different about what people are talking about go anywhere. Undergoing a structural assets.
The probability is they will print more money and the inflation will rise higher and higher, so you must have Bitcoin. It will benefit from printing, and meanwhile it can be hedged as against inflation. Let me know what you guys think, and why do you buy?
I took that one for the team. Even though I do believe them that Bitcoin is gonna go hella high up, so go get some if you ain't. I wish they were comedians because, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. It's your boy Blastphamoushd.